I'm Jesse Yost with CommScope Ruckus. Today we're going to discuss setting a WLAN to use a particular radio band, as well as what can happen when you use the wrong location in a venue within Ruckus Cloud. Let's get started. Back again in my Ruckus Cloud instance, we've got several things to talk about today, but first we're going to take a look at limiting an SSID to a particular radio band. So maybe you have older devices that aren't capable to do 5 gigahertz, so you really don't even need to be broadcasting that SSID. Or maybe even on the other side of that, you've got high-end devices that you don't want connecting to 2.4 gigahertz, so you want to turn that off for that SSID. The first thing that we need to do is go ahead and select the wireless network that we want to make this configuration change on. So I'm going to go to wireless networks on the left here. And you can see I've got 3 wireless networks that are being broadcast through Ruckus Cloud. We can see a lot of information here. We can see how many venues are tied to each one of these SSIDs, how many APs and how many clients are using them, as well as VLAN configuration, but we really can't see which radios are being used by this wireless or each one of these wireless networks yet. So I know I want to change the Ruckus Cloud SSID to only use 5 gigahertz. I'm actually going to select that one and drill down into it. Once you drill down into it, you can see a lot of different information, but we're still not at the point where we need to make the change for the radio. To do that, we actually need to go over to the Venue tab. Once we're at the Venue tab, we can get a list of all the venues that are in this Ruckus Cloud instance, and we can see which one of these venues our WLAN is enabled on. So we can see that the home network venue is the only venue that this SSID is going to be propagated out of. We can see again the WLAN information. We can see that it's set up for all APs. We can also see here the radio options for 2.4 and 5 gigahertz. So that tells us that the Ruckus Cloud WLAN within the home network venue is using both bands. So if I select this blue hyperlink, I will be taken in to modify and given the option to modify this. So I have a drop down here. I can select both 2.4 and 5, only 2.4 or only 5. I'm going to go ahead and choose just 5 gigahertz here and click save. So it's going to update that configuration. Now this SSID is only going to be available on the 5 gigahertz radio. You can also change this at the time of creating a new WLAN. So if I go in back over to my wireless networks and I choose add network, let's just run through real quick and set a quick test network. So I'm not going to keep this, but on this next option here where we specify which venues to activate this on, we will be able to specify which radios we want to use as well. So I'm going to go ahead and activate it on play, and then I'm going to click over here on radios, and I'm going to choose this one just for 2.4 gigahertz and choose save. So you can do it in 2 places. Once the WLAN's already created, you can do it from within the WLAN under the venue settings, or as you're creating the WLAN, when you're specifying which venue you want this SSID to live within, you can choose the radio options there as well. If you've seen any of my recent Ruckus Cloud videos, you may have noticed some red on the dashboard. Typically, red on the dashboard means we need immediate attention. You should resolve this right now, but I'm just now getting around to showing this. It's a lab environment. It's not super important, but we're going to take a look at it now. So let's see what we can determine from the dashboard. We can see we've got 1 alarm. Out of 3 venues, we can see 1 of them requires attention, and out of 4 networking devices, 3 are operational and 1 is not. So out of our venues, we can see from the map that 2 of them are listed in the United States, Play and Home Network, and 1 of them is called Nijo Castle, and it looks to be located in Japan. So let's dig further into the venue and see if we can't figure out what's going on. Again, we see Nijo Castle here listed in red. We can also see that the AP for that venue is also listed in red, but we can see the Kyoto, Japan city and country code reference for this venue. So when you create the venue, you specify an address and it pulls in the city and country and applies that to the venue. So let's jump down into Nijo Castle and see if we can't figure out what's going on. And we can see that it is red. It requires attention. We've got one AP in this venue, and it is also requiring attention. So let's go over to networking devices. And we see the only device in this venue is an R310, and its current status is configuration update failed. Well, let's jump into this particular AP and see if we can't get some more details. And here we can see the root of the problem. It's saying that our R310 isn't permitted by law to be used in this country. This makes sense because this is actually a US-based R310, so it's got a US SKU on it, and we tried to put it in Kyoto, Japan, and we do know that those are not compatible with each other. So that's something that we need to be sure of to make sure that we're not doing. Make sure that the APs that you're purchasing are appropriate for the region, and if they're not, you're not going to be able to push configuration updates to them. Ruckus Cloud is going to flag those, and it's going to tell you that it is not permitted and not permitted by law to be used here. Once the issue has been corrected, your dashboard should no longer present any red alarms. In this case, we went ahead and put the AP into a US-based venue, which allowed it to properly update the configuration, and everything's happy. I'm going to go ahead and cut this one short. Hopefully this video was helpful for those of you that are needing to restrict your WLAN to a specific radio band, or if you're trying to figure out why a specific radio band isn't appearing for your SSID, this can help you out. Or if you had issues with your venue's location, you can use this to also resolve issues that you may have there. Thanks for watching.